Okay, so this is Zonia giving her final thoughts on the Foodstamps lolly drama. I saw she was in Discord arguing about it earlier. Wait, oh wait, I'll read out this message. I saw it in Tom's Discord. Where is it? Zonia said something. She said this to Mantis, okay. Oh, I think you're far worse than Foodstamps. I don't think Foodstamps is all that shitty of a person. I think she's just got a problem. But overall, I don't think she's a shitty person. You, on the other hand, are a deeply shitty person. Bro, people fucking hate Mantis. This is so funny. It's so fucking funny.
I'm turning the corner. I think she could be a valued member of the team.
Bro, it's just so funny. It's like Spicy Chat. Whenever she types in there, it just turns into, like, for 20 minutes, it's like just gay men screaming whore. Gays and blacks screaming whore for like 20 minutes. It's like, wow, okay. You two are sick, says D. Farmer. You don't see the vision, bro. You don't see the vision. It's okay.
Oh, hang on. Get this off here. Okay. Hey, Drow Slayer, how you doing? So if you recall, the end of the last stream, I finished talking to, well, at the tail end of talking to food shops. She asked me, where do we stand? And I said, well, I felt like she had been a little evasive about the Rob Noor thing, and that kind of bothered me, but overall I appreciated her talking with me and answering my questions. And then I said, but where we stand really depends on whether or not she's going to continue to do things like talk about masturbating to lolly, promoting lolly, advocating for law.
I agree with you, DK. I agree with you. There's definitely some not great traits. I 100% agree with that. But listen, could be good content. Okay, that's the reality.
Lolly for pedophiles, doing content about pedophiles, etc. I said that was going to be sort of where the line is drawn.
Same brain cell.
Later that night, after she dropped off, I went and I pulled up the Rob Noor conversation, and we went over that portion of the conversation that we were talking about, and listened to the whole like preamble leading up to it, and Rob Noor posing the question, and then her trying to go and explain away things, and then him cutting her off and saying, you know, simple yes or no question: would you allow your child, a 2-year-old child, to be alone with a known pedophile who's attracted to your child? And she said, if I knew the person personally, yes. Right. So we went over that whole thing. And it was nothing like what she described. It was nothing like what she described at all. And so I was like, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. And I was trying to be charitable. And I said, maybe it's possible that in her head, she saw it as being that there was precognition, that there was 100% no risk with that particular pedophile, that they would never offend. But as we went through it, though, it's like there's no way you could ever say that. He's literally saying that they could have a moment of weakness.
It's crazy that she straight up lied about that shit in the Zonia talk. It's so retarded, man.
And could give in. So Rob Noor set the conditions, and she even repeated the moment of weakness thing, and repeated them back to him. So she validated and confirmed the conditions established by Rob Noor. And there's no point for Rob Noor to ask her that question if there's, in the hypothetical, there's zero chance that they would ever suffer a moment of weakness and give in and assault a child. So precognition was never a condition established in that hypothetical. And we went over that. So I don't know how it is.
No one would check. Well, she tried to stop Zonia from checking live. She like managed to brush it past in the conversation. So yeah, that was her goal the whole time, was just that no one would check. She skated through for that conversation, but obviously people can just look at it afterwards. And obviously Relly showed the full clip. I did beat the first gym. I beat the first gym earlier, Ryzek, yes.
she could have misunderstood that. Now, if I want to continue being charitable, I could say that she's just like rewritten the event in her head and has never gone back to fully watch through the entire thing. But it doesn't really matter though, because the problem is that this is a major red flag and this is an area of concern. And so I asked her about it. And I would have liked a more direct answer or an attempt to understand and try and like work through it and listen to what I was saying. And she didn't do that. Is the bridge burning? I think that I probably need to like cut off conversation with her.
Yeah, I read out Zonia's message to you in Tom's chat earlier, Tom's Discord, where she said that you were a deeply shitty person. That was very funny.
But so then afterward, when I rated out to Tom, I noticed that Kuihman and a couple of others were in the spice pit, and I thought he might have been streaming. So I jumped onto the spice pit and had a quick chat with Kuihman and some of the others. And Kuihman said, turns out he wasn't streaming, but he said, you know, we were just watching your whole conversation with Food Shops. She was gaslighting the fuck out of you. You should go back and take a look at it. And I was like,
True.
I was like, I don't know. I like the way that I saw it was, yeah, she was being kind of slippery and evasive on a few things, and she had changed, you know, like misdirected the topic, like deflected the topic a couple of times, and I felt a little off about it. But I was trying to be nice and not press her too hard, because I felt like if I pressed her too hard, the whole thing was going to break down, and then I wasn't really going to get the answers that I was hoping to get, or wasn't going to get much openness from her.
Zonia's been pretty good in this drama, I think. She said some cringy things because she's got some, you know, takes I don't agree with on, like, you know, the porn shit because of her sex disgust. But, you know, generally pretty good. Yeah.
So I didn't go back over it until Irrelevant covered the conversation yesterday. And then I listened to a good portion of it, probably about half of it as he covered it. And I started to realize that Kuihman was right. There was like quite a bit of gaslighting and misdirection going on there, and trying to evade, like not answer the questions by instead steering it in a totally different direction. And, you know, like normally I'm pretty good at getting people to not evade and not dodge and not pivot and just stay on the topic. But I wasn't really in like the right, you know, headspace, because I've been dealing with a lot of like lack of sleep, not eating properly and such, right?
EP.
And so I really wasn't like in the right mental condition to kind of press her on it and get her to stay on, you know, come on, let's not deviate from this, let's stay on it. I know a couple times I did kind of press her on that and get her, like when she tried to deflect to the OnlyFans thing with like a whataboutism kind of approach, I finally was like, no, I'm sorry, this is bullshit. No, let's stay on topic. So I did it there, but I didn't really do it with the interest in Lolly part and like what it is that she's attracted to in Lolly. So, and a couple of other parts as well. So listening to Irrelevant go over it and hearing some of the things that he was saying and him kind of like catching the evasion and calling it out, and Kuihman pointing out some of the gaslighting that was going on, and then me going back over, I actually went over it again. Not only at the end of the stream did I go over the Rob Noor conversation again, I also watched Irrelevant go over it. And I went over it a third time, but even going over the fuller context of that conversation from the very start of when she proposed the topic to the very end of it. And yeah, I don't know how it is that she can possibly think that there was ever precognition in any of that conversation at all. Even in the preamble before it, where she established the topic, there was no precognition that there was zero possibility of offending. In that. So this is what it feels like to me. Hi, Puka. Hello. Cat's back. He came back, guys. He came back. He didn't abandon me. Yeah, I know. Yeah. How you doing, bud? Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right, we get it. Okay, we get it, Zonia.
Yeah. So
Cats are based.
I don't know if she's lying to me or not. I don't have any way to know that. There's way too much pivoting, way too much evasion, way too much, unsatisfying answers, right? But then in addition to that, so she's getting kind of like dogpiled in my Discord, right? So that's a bit of a problem too. My Discord generally is pretty easy going, but we have some hard asses in there, and most of the people in there don't like her and don't trust her. And we're also pretty fucking prudish in that Discord. So, a community is often a bit of a reflection of the person that, heads up the community, right? And
so you guys are just prudish. Like me. You guys are just like
my community seems to be similarly prudish. So there's that. So she's also getting dogpiled in my Discord. In addition to that, and hang on, I'm getting DMs. Yeah. So let's see. Hey, I heard that Tom Flory said he was pro CP because when he was 15, he wanted porn with girls his age in it.
Have you heard this before?
Wait, what was that?
Just take it back a moment.
What?
Community, right? And I'm extremely prudish. So my community seems to be similarly prudish. So there's that. So she's also getting dogpiled in my Discord. In addition to that, and hang on, I'm getting DMs. Yeah. So let's see. Hey, I heard that Tom Flory said he was pro CP because when he was 15, he wanted porn with girls his age in it.
Bro.
How many? True? Yeah, I wasn't aware of this. How many people have said this now? Sick said it. Destiny said it. And now Tom said it. Who are these people downloading CP when they themselves are children?
Yeah, what the fuck? Bro.
Like, and even if that was the case, because I can understand it, where they're coming from, but why are you saying it out loud? Like, why are you telling the entire world on stream?
But like, why? Like, saying you're pro CP, like, I don't think that's an argument to have like to be pro CP. Like, I can understand saying like, yeah, there probably is a desire in kids to see people their age. I can understand saying that, but to go as far as say that you're pro CP, because that's wild. Because there's a lot more. There's a lot more to it than that, right? It's not just what the kids want to see. Oh, we should make that legal. I don't know, man.
Yeah, because you start to like, well, you're going to end up with like statutory CP charges and stuff.
I'm engaging with this comment as if this is true. I don't know that this is true.
Well, she goes into a bit more detail.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
So first off, Tom is acknowledged in my presence talking about that thing. He brought that up, that he doesn't want it getting in front of kids.
Oh.
He did get a hold of CP when he was a kid, when he was a teenager,
no.
Because he was looking for porn in his age group, and he found it.
Why do you say? Do people say this?
He recognizes that that's a problem. That's bad. So he is opposed to it. Yeah, he is opposed to it. We've talked about it. He and I were on his stream talking about it.
Okay, dude.
When he brought that very
what a
concept
fucking insane thing to say.
But anyways, yeah. So I don't know what to believe. That's the problem. I don't know what to believe with food shops. It seems
to do.
like she is. So first off, she's opened up and said some pretty egregious things.
I wouldn't have ever thought to do that. I don't know. That's fucking wild. I thought when you're 15, you know at that age, like, CP bad, right? No? No, am I crazy? I don't know, man.
Yeah, you must do, because Christ, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to predate you where it was even an option for me. Like my formative years were, I wouldn't have had access to it online anyway. But
we
covered
magazines in the bushes.
Yeah, literally. But we covered stuff like this in SE, like social education / sex education, right?
Yeah,
talking about like the risks which you maybe to young people with adults, etc., and how that can like feed into this.
And
he
was Christian though, so maybe it was like just super weird there. I don't know. I'm trying to be generous
possibly.
Here, but just why, bro? Craziness, madness, absolute madness.
That I have to, say something about. I feel obligated to say something like, "Hey, nah, this is fucked up," right? I confronted her on those things, and she misdirected and changed the topic and pivoted and seemed like she was not being honest about the conversation with Rob Noor at all when we went back over it. And this is something that has blowback, right? This is something that it already had some blowback on Jenny. Fortunately, when Jenny came out and said, "Hey, I never knew that she had actually been into Lolly," and that got confirmed by food shops. Jenny was in the clear, but that doesn't change the fact that there were people that were pissed off at Jenny for being associated with food shops, under the assumption that she had knowledge, like foreknowledge of her interest in Lolly. But overall, yeah, like looking over the whole thing, it just felt very like slippery and evasive. And so that puts me into a bit of a bad situation, because I did want to keep the door open with her, but I don't think I can. It's too risky, right? If she's being evasive about this, what else is she being evasive about? If she's not willing to own the problems that come with this, what else is going to come up, right? Like, think about how she didn't understand, like that she didn't understand that for her, it was no big deal. She was telling me to go look at the teen category on Pornhub.
Yeah, that was super weird though. She was like pushing Zonia to go look at porn. It's just like so weird to do.
And I'm like, what are you talking? I'm not going to do that. I'll leave that up to other people. I'm not going to look at that shit. And she goes and says, "Don't worry about it. It's just for research purposes. You can do it." Like, that's an answer. Like, she can't even understand that perspective, right? She doesn't understand how fucked up that is. The initial reaction that most human beings should have is like, what? Why would I look at that? Why would you ask me to look at that? Most humans would have that reaction. But she doesn't have that reaction. And then you add to that this conversation with Rob Noor, where it was quite obvious from end to end of that entire segment, that entire topic, it was never established that there was precognition that the hypothetical pedophile would never offend. And she goes and says, yeah, she would leave her own child that pedophile is attracted to alone with that pedophile. It's like she's lacking all of the sort of like basic fundamental instincts that we all generally have with regard to this stuff.
That's a bit much. I don't know. Saying she's lacking, I mean, yeah, she seems like a bit of a freak. But, I mean, I don't know. It feels as though he's over-egging the pudding a bit there. Whatever.
And this kind of goes back to what I was saying about her going and fapping to Lolicon when she shouldn't have been doing that in the first place, because she had POCD. This is something else we're going to go into in a little bit here. This further plays into what I was talking about, how she's
conscious.
desensitizing herself to this entire thing, the whole concept of protecting children in the face of those who would prey on them, protecting children from people who would see them as being sexual objects for them. It's like she's desensitized herself to
the research.
And
it's like, even if it's in a research paper, if Lolly's like federally illegal, surely that's still, really technically you still can't go and look at that legally. I don't know. I guess it depends what it is, whether it's actually full-blown sexualized imagery of children.
Let's talk a little bit about the, as she put it, the self-therapy, exposure therapy that she did.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get exemptions for research, but does that apply to the people like downloading the paper and shit? I don't know.
So this is something I had looked into before I had the conversation with her. What the exposure therapy and different types of therapies were for not just POCD, but for other subsets of OCD as well. Harm OCD, POCD.
Oh, yeah, this is your chance.
Those are the two main ones I looked at, but I looked at some other ones as well. I could not find any suggestions on any reputable sites, any therapy sites, any PhD sites at all that talked about that it was recommended that that either you look at sexual images of kids or masturbate to it. Neither of those are in any of them. So I went and started like looking into it more to look at it again. All the recommendations are non-sexualized image and depictions of kids in safe spaces under controlled circumstances with a therapist present. Those are the conditions. Not a single one of them recommended any kind of sexual engagement or sexual imagery or media, anything like that. So, no masturbation, no looking at sexualized images of or depictions of kids. Not even fantastical ones, not even animated ones or drawn ones.
Not even drawn CP? Come on. Come on. Let her have a little bit.
So, let me pull this up real quick.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Hello. Let me show you this here.
Guys, I need to name this pen sage. Any ideas? There's deeper armor here. I want something named. It's just deeper armor. That's it.
Damn it, where is this? I thought I had this saved off to the side.
I already named one of the monkeys Stylo. I guess I can do another one. We'll name all the monkeys after Stylo. It's fine. Can we call this one Kenny? Yeah, Kenny.
Let me show you. The fuck?
I haven't named anything after you yet, DK9. Yeah, there's really nothing better to name the monkeys. Jesus. So fucked. Is there a nonce Pokemon?
Oh, I see. Okay, take a look at this.
I think so, bro.
So these are examples of exposures for POCD. Exposures for POCD will focus on situations that are safe and reasonable for the individual as well as any children involved. Exposures for treating POCD could include looking at pictures of children while emphasizing the non-sexual nature of the POCD intrusive thoughts, watching non-sexualized videos of children, going to a park where children are playing. By the way, I included this one in here because I saw it in a few, but most of them said that they don't interact with children in the real world. It's always in a controlled environment with the therapist, like in a room and such like that, right? So you can, for instance, if you have like a family member or, you know, friend, or like usually like a family member who has a kid in the family that you're afraid of like interacting with, you'd have the family come over for that, to that therapist's office in that controlled environment and interact in that way. Attending a movie with children in the same theater, being in the same room with a child. So, this is one of the sources. Choosing therapy, pedophilia, OCD, symptoms, causes, and treatment. I went through a bunch of...
Mr. Mime is the nonce Pokemon. Why is Mr. Mime the nonce Pokemon? Because he looks like one. Or
different ones. I decided to stick with this one because it had the most, you know, condensed version of them that I could easily screenshot so I could use it like in a video and such. I'm possibly thinking about maybe doing an interview with a POCD specialty therapist who could explain a bit more about these things and talk about this stuff. Because I think it would probably be a good thing to talk about, considering that we have someone in the space that is, from all I can tell, spreading misinformation about both the POCD itself and the methods of treatment.
Someone really just do that. Go on the internet and tell lies. Really?
So I have no idea if she's actually seeing a therapist for POCD and actually has a therapist approving this, but it makes no approving what she does, but it doesn't make any sense. It's either that therapist is a hack and dangerous and shouldn't be a therapist, or she's lying. It's one of the two. So either way, that makes for a dangerous person for me to associate with. Because if she's seeing a hack of a therapist who's telling her it's okay for her to go and look at illustrations of children in sexualized scenarios and to masturbate to it, that's dangerous. I don't need someone like that has that kind of problems being instructed by a hack of a therapist being around me or in my presence.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's dangerous to talk about shit.
What else are they
cringe.
recommending for her? That's just absolutely ridiculous.
Talking about shit in Twitch Pro, no matter what topic it is, isn't dangerous. It's fucking so retarded. You've got 100 viewers. Go over yourself. Come on. Like, nothing's changing.
Ridiculous and irresponsible. And the other alternative is that she's lying about this, just so that she can excuse being public about her masturbating to Lolly. There's also been like a lot of myths being told about Lolly, but I think I'm going to just address that in a video instead of going over it more on stream, because I'm tired of repeating myself on it. But there's been a lot of myths that have been spread around. I had to correct Tom on some of them. I don't know like why it was that he thought what he did, but I jumped onto his stream and corrected him on one of them while he was talking with Aiko. But I've also heard Stardust spreading some multiple myths about Lolly on her stream. And so I don't know where the fuck these myths are coming from. Like talking about that there's like big butt and boob and hip Lolly. That's not true. That's not true at all. The whole point of Lolly is that it's depicting a kid, like somebody that is distinguishably a kid, right?
Zonia's been watching Kuihman,
and there have been some other wild 9%. Claims as well.
Yeah, it was saying that was like 90% most or whatever. Yeah, she was going hog wild. Have you seen this meme in Reservoir's chat? This is the one thing I'll say is funny in Reservoir's chat, right? They have, like, do you know Hog Rider from Clash of Clans?
I have no idea.
It's like this character that rides like a pig. That's like in memes and shit. Where is it? Where's the video that everyone always? Like this.
102 Nugget.
So they'll spam this as an emote, like someone riding a pig, and say, take down Stardust, again and again. I just like, it's like so fucking harsh, but it's like so funny. And it started because I think I was shit talking Stardust's career in his chat. And then people just started going fucking wild with it. It was like so insane.
There's been a whole bunch of wild claims about this stuff that claiming that they're adults in lolly. No, by definition, that is not the case. Like one of the things that I've been accumulating a whole bunch of material and putting it all together because I'm going to put it all into a video. And I'm just going to just put the video out there and let the video speak for itself. Because there's just too much misinformation and disinformation about this stuff right now. And it's really bothering me because it's being used to provide cover for what Food Shops is doing and to downplay what it is that she's doing and what she's advocating for. And that's really dangerous. That's pretty disgusting. So the downside is I've had to go and read up on a bunch of stuff that I really didn't want to know.
Oh no.
Fortunately, it's like most of it I can get done by
TLDR, what Foodstamps do, admit to liking lolly and then try to blame it on POCD and lie about a bunch of shit. It's a TLDR.
Looking at the Wikipedia entries, like a really good example here. Take a look at this. Oops. So, like, this is a really important one that shows you what the fuck is going on. And there ain't no way to work around this. But take a look. These are the genres of hentai from Wikipedia. These also, you can find these on fandom.com as well. And a few other places that talk about the different genres of hentai. Lolicon hentai is gender and age specific. Centered on prepubescent, pubescent, or post-pubescent underage girls, whether homosexual or heterosexual. And this has been pretty consistent. Everywhere I've seen it, that's been a very consistent description of what lolicon hentai is. So you don't have to expose yourself to crazy shit in order to learn about it. But you still need to kind of like read up on like the origins of it and stuff. So I've been reading up a lot on the history of hentai, the history of lolly hentai, what came before it. Ecchi is what it was called.
Yeah.
When it became popular, when the term lolly started to be used in common vernacular in the 70s, when lolly hentai started to blow up, it had its boom in the 80s. The different evolutions of lolly hentai and how it, evolved over time. Hentai is just when a female chicken is into bondage. Yeah. So I had to do a lot of research into this stuff, and I'm putting together a video on it. I'm no doctor, but the medication that she showed is a widely used med for depression. It is, but it's also commonly used for people with OCD. because it helps inhibit the anxiety that is associated with OCD that causes the obsessiveness. So it helps decrease obsessiveness. But yeah, sertraline is an antidepressant, an SSRI. But the mechanic by which it works, it also helps reduce anxiety. I had friends who took some of the same shit for GAD. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's particularly good at addressing anxiety. So yeah.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Welcome. Yeah, so I'm going to put together a video on it, and we'll put the video out, let the video kind of do the talking. Hey, cats. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut ties with Food Shops. I think she's too risky.
Oof. Owned.
Yeah.
It's over.
Such degeneracy.
It's over, Food Sisters.
And I don't think it's a healthy place for her to be in my server. Plus, I don't really want to be associated with her. She's way too risky. But in general, like, it's not going to be a healthy place for her in my server because of the community just doesn't like her.
Owned?
And they've been very mean to her.
Based?
I was trying to be nice. I was trying to be chill with her. But unfortunately, because people started teasing her about sexuality and stuff and started making comments about like sexual stuff, then she starts talking about her own sexuality and like what she's attracted to. And I'm like, I can't have that. As it is, my server is very fucking prudish. I don't want anybody talking about sex in there. But I'm like, yeah, you can't. I'm sorry. You just raised a whole bunch of red flags and crossed a bunch of lines. You can't talk about sexuality at all.
Nobody want to hear that shit
at this point. Like, just stay off it, man. Not in my server, okay? I don't want to run any risks. All right, I don't need you raising red flags in my server, okay? Ugh. So I actually I updated the rules to like explicit. It used to be that we had like one line in there that said that it's a safe for work server, and to not talk about sexual stuff, right? But I just made it a rule at this point, and I just updated the rules to literally say, talk about your sexual degeneracy will likely get you bullied in this community. This is a safe for work server. Talking about degenerate shit will get you in trouble with the community. So I decided to just put that in there because I'm like, I don't want that shit in my server. I don't even care if it's like, I just don't want it. I don't want any of those risks. Keep it out of my server. Sulfur pinned it in general chat? Yeah, I saw that. Thank you for that. Yep. Just not interested. Hey, dancing duck. Let this be a lesson to everyone about why you should never trust these lolicon freaks. Give them an inch and they will take a mile.
What?
I'll tell you, I'm getting way more black-pilled on like people and their weird, freaky sexuality shit. Like way black-pilled.
Should get it? Yeah, why not? We'll get the Oracle again.
Yeah. So Lolicon and Shotokan are incredibly sus. Like, come on, we know what that is. Yeah, that's the other thing too, because I'm sitting there going like, what are you fapping to? She agreed that there were 3 different things that she was into. She was into the power dynamic, she was into the petite bodies, and she was into the guilt.
I have played Postal 2, yes.
So I don't know like what else. You're kind of covering all the territory there. You can get those as over 18s. Yeah, and just like thinking back on it, man, it really kind of messed with my my head. Just like all the stuff that she had told me and everything. It's disturbing, you know. It's just disturbing.
It's a bit much in it. Come on now.
I don't know
that bad.
like what else to say about it. I'm just
lolly.
I was mind blown. I didn't think it would go that deep, that she had like self-prescribed exposure therapy by fapping to Lolicon. I never would have considered that. With all the other things I had heard her say, I never once would have considered that. That was not on my bingo card, on my food shop's bingo card. I felt like I was going insane listening to how charitable some people were being about this stuff. I don't even think it's so much charitable. I don't think it's so much charitable. I think it's an unwillingness to actually look at what's going on and pay attention and like know what the fuck is being talked about. The fact that I've picked up on so much misinformation from both Stardust and Tom tells me that there was no effort put into understanding like what it was that Food Shops was talking about. Earlier. It was simply just taking Food Shops' word for it.
AKA, I won't like your name. Have you watched it, or did you just look at the wiki? Why do I feel like you linked it somewhere? Did you link it somewhere? You're just now tuning in. Okay. I saw it linked somebody the other day, but yeah, I brought it up. I brought up that people were complaining that we gather information on people, and so I showed the Lav Destiny wiki page. Did I just get you killed? Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah, you got owned, Kenny. Sorry. Have you checked that? It's so crazy. We fucked it up.
Here.
Lost the Arcoria.
I haven't decided if I want to go with this just yet.
Remember, I don't have you in my party right now.
But this kind of lays out the issues. I might rework this. But let me show you the video that I was gonna do.
I don't think there's much more now, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it was good to hear a final report from Agent Zonia on the food stamps situation. Thanks for your work.
No, it's not a Nuzlocke, it's just a ROM hack. Well, I mean, that was all relatively predictable. I figured Zonia probably wouldn't hang out with food shops very much. I don't know. That was kind of expected.